So this might seem a bit unfamiliar for some people, but I've been here before and I've done these kind of videos in the past, but this is a new channel because I did a video on my past channel, which is similar to this format, but this is a entire new series for me. What I'm representing here is a series about bands that that inspire me, that I listen to for most of my life, and that really made me the person I am today. What I mean with that is that I, of course, had a kind of update video about, my scenario on YouTube. Most people that are here for Agalloch probably don't really care about what I'm saying here, but it's just kind of an introduction to this series of mine that I really just like to talk about bands that inspire me, that just really put me in the mood to listen to some music. And this is really one of the first bands that came to my mind because I've listened to these guys a lot. They inspire me. They have kind of just made masterpiece after masterpiece releases. So this is kind of a series where I wanted to talk about every band that's kind of means something to me. And at the end of that series, I will compile all of those artists, or I will compile a list that is, in the vein of this kind of series, but it's in a list format. So you will see a list. For me, it's that Topsters row, if you can see that, with the white dots there. That's a tab for Topsters, and that will have my 100 albums of all time. And, of course, that list will change probably over time. But as it is right now, I'm pretty confident that it's that list, And in the time that I'm doing this band and that band, it will probably already be different, but I will guarantee that most likely the top 50 will stay permanent on my list. I don't think that's going anywhere, and anything below that can change, most likely. But for now, I'm pretty happy with it, so I decided I might as well make a series on all of those artists and all of those albums, and you will see what makes it on the list and what doesn't. And of course, I'm also open to suggestions, reactions, and all that stuff. I'm just not gonna play the audio because I'm not sure with today's YouTube if that can really work out for me. Because in the past I did kind of these Watch Mojo React videos, and almost all of them were ineligible for monetization, so I couldn't get views or money off of them, or just ad revenue. I think that's the word. I couldn't get it because YouTube is kind of a B word for that. I don't think I can even swear anymore. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna keep it PG and clean, I'm here for a good time, so I don't want to piss off any of the CEOs. So let's just give it a good time. I had some issues in the past with recording, but I got a new webcam. I actually got it in today, and I was like, yeah, screw it. Let's just make some content again. I've been on YouTube for about 10 years or so, and I've never really done anything productive with it, I feel like. Some people are they still kind of value my reaction content or album reviews, but I don't really give a shit about it anymore. Said a swear word, sorry YouTube, don't cancel me. But yeah, I am passionate about music and I do like to talk about it, but I just never really had an audience for it. I think I had 300 subscribers on my old accounts, but I never really sustained it because I was never really, motivated to keep doing it, because album reviews kind of burned me out. I was like, I don't care about this. So I rather just talk about bands that I like, and just expressing my views, it already just puts me in a better mood to just talk about it, because in my area, I never really had a person to talk about, Agalloch and these metal bands, because I'm like, where can I share this? And I was like, I had a place for that. It's called YouTube. So why not just do it here? So that's kind of my main reason why I decided to return to YouTube, because I have a new account again. I had an account before this, and it was called Sound of Ominous, but I got hacked by a Brazilian kid. He got access to my entire PC, to my IP, I think, to my Discord token, so he could just hack everything I had. So I kind of lost that. It was a 10-year-old account. I had a lot of content on there, but I can't do shit about that now. It's just locked behind that account, so it's locked by an iPhone, I believe, or like you have to verify that shit to get access. He encrypted that shit, so I can't access it anymore. So I have to start fresh. Might as well let you know what the channel is built on, or that's the reason why this channel exists, because I can't access the old one anymore. If you're here for Agalloch, you probably don't know any of that history, but that's the reason why I'm here right now, because I don't have access to that account anymore. So let's just start new, start fresh. So I'm interested in this band. That was just kind of a small introduction for 6 minutes long. And I am intrigued by Agalloch because I think they are a Norwegian band. Kind of have to look that up on my phone because I don't want to switch tabs all the time to make you distracted. Just like to show the live show. I've never really looked at live shows, honestly, but it's something to watch in the back if you get bored of looking at me. So might as well just throw it on there if Agalloch doesn't copyright claim my ass or something. I don't think they do. Hayne, I think, is the guy's name. He seems like a pretty chill dude, so I don't think he would have an issue with it. But if he does, then contact me on here on YouTube or Discord. I don't really care. Or email me. I don't mind. But yeah, I might leave a description behind. We'll still see how that goes. But yeah, I was just mainly interested in my introduction and to talk about Agalloch, because they are a pretty valuable band to me. I've listened to a majority of my life to them. I think it's also a metal star. That's the main site I use to look up metal albums. They're actually a American band. It doesn't exactly say from which state they are, but they are just from USA, so... these are their main albums, by the way, so I'll talk about that in a bit. You have, the debut, which is a bit more inherited by sort of these folksy roots. It's pretty kind of a dingy, kind of a darker, gloomy black metal album with a lot of like neo-folk influences in their music. So that's an album I kind of like have a sentimental value to, because I just think that the album sounds fucking cool to me, so that's the reason why I like it. Then you have The Mantle, with the deer on the cover. That's a pretty cool one, because you also just have that atmosphere with it. You have more of like a cleaner black metal production, so it's actually, I think, the most accessible black metal album that you can get into. I think, like, some people might not even consider it black metal. Like, some say it's just like a folk metal album, which, it's also just the greatest thing in that genre. So whatever that album is, it's pretty fucking great in my opinion. It's just a great album to throw on and just have a good time to. So you can be like in a workout mood. You can be in like a relaxing mood. You can walk through a winter storm, or like walk through the sunshine. You can grocery shop to this album. You can do anything with it, and it will be a good time. So it's just kind of like one of those universal beloved albums, and I do think it's a bit overrated in their discography. I don't think it's the greatest thing they ever done, but it comes pretty damn close to perfection. I'll say that. So then you have Ashes Against the Grain, which is well, I won't I won't say it yet, but it's definitely, in my opinion, a improvement above the Mantle, because this album has like an even cleaner production, and it just like is a direct hit of like post black metal, like almost black gaze kind of sound. Like I would argue that this is maybe the first black gaze album, and it sounds pretty like shoegazy and shit. So that's why I really like it. I just really like the atmosphere on this album. It's just a really like dense and just like a very atmospheric, thick, layering kind of black metal album. So I really, really like it for those reasons, and that's always why I considered it like a premier album in their catalog. Like I would always recommend Ashes Against the Grain if you decide to listen to Agalloch. It's like a great start off point. The only issue, of course, is that if you listen to that album first, anything will pale in comparison, in my opinion, or Pill Communion, I think. So I believe that's an Opeth album. I'll talk about them in a bit, but not yet. If you can tell, I'm also a pretty big Opeth fan, I think. Yeah, right there. They're actually right next to Agalloch, so I have a vinyl collection, and I think, yeah, you can see it right behind me, so I think that was already obvious, but might as well point it out, right? So the next album they did was Marrow of the Spirit, which is their fourth album. I was kind of less intrigued by that one. I'm going up again because this room is not like really light supported, so I'm kind of in a dingy dark room right now. I only have like one light that supports this room, so anything else it's kind of dark. So I could like throw on a color, but it might look a bit distracting. But yeah, the fourth album is something where I felt they fell off personally, so I was less intrigued to check out their other material because it sounded a bit aimless to me. Like the songs were still good, the atmosphere was definitely there, but it didn't feel like they had the consistency anymore of Pale Folklore and Ashes Against the Grain. I think those are really like the most consistent hits of black metal you could get from Agalloch. And with the Mantle, you get more of like a complete atmospheric album, but it also felt like they were more focused on building tension and atmosphere rather than actual like consistent song bases, like song crafts. That's how it felt to me. I think Marrow of the Spirit still has a great atmosphere for Agalloch, but I do think that because the songs are so long and so kind of dense that they do kind of get lost in the craft sometimes. It does kind of feel like they get lost in the weeds sometimes with that album. I still think it's cool. It has a great album cover, but I wasn't really enveloped by the entire experience, in my opinion. So that's the reason why it fell a bit short for me, and why I wasn't like fully enticed by the experience. But I still say it's a good record. Like it's still like a good record to own from them. But it's definitely a step down from like the Mantle and Ashes Against the Grain. It's not on that like premium black metal Agalloch level, but it's still a pretty good release, I think. But then you get to the last album. I'm gonna throw on Solace because that might look a bit, I think this looks a bit more like vibey, roomy. So if people actually watch this, then you can give me commentary if you prefer like the black room or this. I don't really mind, to be honest, but I think this looks better. So then you get the last album, which is The Serpent and the Sphere. And this is, in my opinion, that like I just didn't really find it great, to be honest. I thought it was kind of an aimless mess. It never really gravitated towards me. I never really got much value out of it. It's a record to own, and that's for sure. It's a record to own. It does kind of add to the collection, I guess, so you could listen to more Agalloch and diversify from the main albums. But I really couldn't give less of a shit about it even if I tried. I just don't care about it. I'm sorry, but I just don't. So that's kind of the reason why I never really got into like late era Agalloch, because it just sounded completely aimless to me. I don't know. I just don't care that much about it. I tried a couple times. I just don't care. It just felt like they lost the spirit. And I mean, that sentiment did kind of reign true, because after that album, they were just gone. They were just non-existent anymore. They broke up. They broke up in 2016. It says there. So they kind of agreed with me that there was no passion anymore in it, or they just didn't felt passionate to make more like it, because there is just no inspiration in my ears personally. So I just didn't really gravitate towards that particular sound. So that's kind of unfortunate, but that's just how it is, I guess. So I also grabbed a tier list there. So let's just do it. So the first album with the remastered artwork, I think all the remastered artworks look better. The first one and the third one got a remastered cover. The originals kind of look like shit, so they did really need a rework. The Mantle also got a remastered artwork because it is their most famous album, but I honestly like it the least out of the album covers. I don't mean like album quality. So the first one is pretty good. It's just a pretty good raw hit of black metal, and I just really like the neo folk kind of aesthetic, like kind of the inspiration to it. So I just really like the vibe of this album. I think it's really underrated. So I'm definitely gonna give that an A tier. I think it's pretty great. I mean, The Mantle is, of course, a seminal album in black metal. It's honestly like the most accessible thing you can hear in the genre. Like it's folky, it's like wintry. It has like a great atmosphere to it. It's just a great album to vibe out to, but it's also like heavy. Like it has like really good like like kind of blast beats on it. I think those are blast beats. It has really cool black metal riffing on it, like you hear on most of those releases. And the atmosphere is just really thick. It really sounds like you're walking through like a really hazily kind of winter storm. So the atmosphere is impeccable on this album. That's definitely the best thing about The Mantle. Just the atmosphere about the entire album. It sounds so huge. The sound of it is so huge. So for those reasons, it's an easy S tier for me. It's not my favorite album, I think, because I do think it's a bit overrated. I don't really think I go back to individual songs. Like I Am the Wooden Doors. I think that's a really dumb title, but it exists. It's a good song though. What else? She Were But a Ghost in My Arm. That song is fucking amazing. I love that song. In the Shadow of Our Pale Companion. That's of course a great song. A Desolation song I found a bit overrated. That kind of weird, kind of jokingly acoustic song at the end. I think that's kind of bullshit. There is kind of some filler material in there, but in the grander scheme of The Mantle, it is just a seminal album. Like nothing sounds like The Mantle. It's a really unique kind of black metal album. So for those reasons, I do have to put it in S tier. Despite its flaws, it's still a great album. But then, I think I made it kind of obvious, but it's my favorite Agalloch album, Ashes Against the Grain. It is my favorite of them because it's the most consistent hit of Agalloch you can get. You get Limbs, Falling Snow, Fire Above, Ice Below, I think is another. You get all those great songs. You get some bullshit interludes, which, it's a bit unneeded, but it exists, I guess. And I mean, the masterpiece now, not unlike The Waves, also a great song. Those are all like really fucking good songs. Those are all like god tier songs. And then in arguably the finest black metal song I've ever heard, actually, I was called again. Our Fortress is Burning, Part 2, Bloodbirds. That song is fucking amazing. I don't care if like YouTube like blocks me out or something. Like that song is just so fucking good. Just the entire atmosphere on it, and when he just fucking growls. But what does he even say? I don't even know the lyrics. Are there like lyric sheets on Metal Star, because I just really like to fucking sing that song, or just really invoke the experience, because um I mean that song is just fucking incredible. I don't really know the lyrics to it, but I don't really read into lyrics that deeply, but I just really go off of emotion and song crafting. But god fucking damn it, they created a beast on there. Like all the Fortress songs are good. Not like the way Fire Above, Ice Below. Yeah, this is kind of a pointless interlude, but it's still good. It still brings an atmosphere. It's really fucking ominous. Like me, so that's probably why it gravitates toward me. And Falling Snow is like the best song ever. That's like my favorite song ever, arguably. So Limbs is also a great opening. The only song that's kind of seems a bit vague, kind of like weird, is the last Fortress song. I did say they were all great. Great atmosphere though, but the third part, the grain, is a bit. It's a bit filler, I would say. But besides that, this album is like perfect. Like it's fucking perfection, I would say. So yeah, that's an easy S tier for me as well. That is easily the best thing Agalloch ever did, in my opinion. So still my favorite from them. So you might see it on the list, but who knows? And then we got to this one, Marrow of the Spirit, I believe it was called. I was less into it personally because it's more centered around the atmosphere, like the mental, but it has like less consistent good songwriting in my opinion. But it's still a good Agalloch record, so I give it a B there. Maybe controversial because I know a lot of people maybe got into Agalloch because of Marrow of the Spirit, but I just think that all the songs are just really long and they seem a bit aimless to me. But maybe if I listen more to it, I might like it better. But it just felt like with the Mantle and Ashes Against the Grain, they had pretty consistent run times. The songs were quite long, but they weren't 10 plus minutes long, I think. I think none of the songs on those albums were 10 minutes long, right? I don't think so. So all the songs had a concise, like consistent runtime, and they just were packed with good quality. So that's just what I like about those albums. They were consistent, to the point, and they just hit you with like a thick layer of atmosphere. And Mare of the Spirit doesn't have a lot of songs, but the songs that are on there are just long as shit. So they just diversified their style, which is good. They changed up. I respect the move, but I go back less to those moments because I wasn't really into long Agalloch songs. If the song was good, I listened to it regardless. That's why I go back to those early albums. I don't really return to this a lot. But, if I get sick of Ashes or The Mantle, I throw on Marrow, That's kind of the reason why it exists for me. It's good to freshen it up. So that's why I like it. The last album, which, is not great. The Serpent and the Sphere, I believe it was called. Might even be a D tier, to be honest. I don't really care for it. But, because we don't have anything in C, I might as well throw it in there. I just don't really care for this album. Crucify me, do what you want, but I didn't like it. That's my opinion, Yeah, that is, I think, the most accurate Agalloch tier list you can give. I would probably also throw in some EPs in there because I do like some of their EP catalog. So we can look at that for a bit and then I can, close out the video. So let's see. Of Stone, Wind and Pillar. I mean, kind of a filler EP, but it was kind of alright. Turmoil Will Never Come, I think, was just one song. really weird cover. The Grey, not great. I think some interlude bits and some experimental nonsense, so I was not into that. The White is actually a really good kind of like acoustic EP from there. It's kind of great because it kind of sounds like a mix from Pale Folklore, The Mantle, and Ashes Against the Grain. Like, it has the cleanness of Ashes, it has the kind of catchy melodies of The Mantle, but it has the neo-folk sounds of Folklore. So it has kind of the best elements of all of those albums, and it sounds fucking great. This EP is really good, so I think it's probably the most underrated thing they've done. So I'll probably put this in Aether. A, maybe even S. If this was a whole album, this would be S tier, easily. For sure, because it's great, and Agalloch is a great band. They're definitely up there. I think, I did a tier list on the original channel, Sound of Ominous. I think this one is just called Ominous. I don't look at this shit a lot. But, I did score this band, and I did give it a master. This is an amazing band. I just love the atmosphere that Agalloch provides, and just how atmospheric and unique this band sounds. Like, nothing really sounds like Agalloch. There are, of course, bands that are in the neo-folk genre. I think the most famous one in that genre is called Death in June, which is like an experimental neo-folk artist. One of my favorite YouTubers, Wyatt Exam, is a big fan of that band, so I might check that out. Maybe throw that in there on my favorites list as well. But I do have Agalloch as well, which also possesses folk, so who knows? But that dude has great taste. I think you know him. If you look up Agalloch, you probably know that guy as well. So it's kind of in the same kind of like extreme metal kind of realm. So he does a lot of content like that. But enough about that. Let's promote me some more because that's like a 50k channel. I'm nothing. So yeah, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed the kind of discography dive I did on Agalloch. I don't think I'll do... Yeah, maybe I'll do like a tier list on the band's whole discography after that, because I do like to make these kind of videos. It did feel like maybe I didn't bring something new specifically to the table, but I might even say that like Metal Trenches is like an influence to me, to bring the influence game in there. Because I do like to make these like kind of topic videos where you discuss these bands, and after that you can also just make tier lists about it to keep things fun. So you might even call that dude an influence on me, because I did watch Metal Trenches a lot. He's honestly like the only guy with like metal tier lists that I can watch. Like, I don't fucking like any of those guys, to be honest. I like Metal Quest and the Meltdown, I believe. Like those dudes, they post like on every fucking thumbnail that they do. I'm like, how can you be like that? Like, I don't understand. No hate to anyone. Like, do what you do, But I can't. Like, how can you do that? Just be a fucking clown 24/7. Imagine this video getting viral and me just shitting on everyone. Like, it's kind of like the Digibro thing all over again, but with metal. Just be the most infamous person on there. I'm not sure what will happen, but I do like my videos uncut and real, so fuck it, let's throw it out there. I also have like an influence page below like my videos, I think, which influential channels. Wyatt is definitely on there, Wyatt XM, because that dude he has so much fucking knowledge on metal, like it's not even real. Like, the bands that he got me into, I'll talk about that in a bit, because I've also threw them on my list, because he showed them and I was like, wow, does this music even exist? Like fucking death industrial, sludge death doom metal, more atmospheric metal, dissonant shit like Gorguts. Like, I infamously hate Gorguts. Like, I don't fucking care about that kind of music. But, you know, he showed some Deathspell, Omega, and Portal, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of good. You know, I kind of like the shit. And it is dissonant. I was like, dissonant sounded like shit to me. Like, I heard Gorguts, and I was like, how can anyone listen to this music? That's because Gorguts is the bad version of that kind of music, you know? Just listen to Deathspell, Omega, and Portal. Those are the good kind of bands. And he recommends that music. I'm like, yes, thank you, Wyatt. Thank you for citing good bands in this style. So that's a cool dude. So check him out. You know, he's pretty famous, but threw him on my influentials list. So if you want to watch more like content creators that make these kind of topic videos on bands, he does that a lot with shit that he loves. So definitely check out YXM. Who else do I like? You know, a Digibro, like I said, who is the Golden Witch right now. Shout out to him. Shout out to her. Excuse me, she made a transition. Shout out to her. She's my biggest influence because, you know, just the way she talks and the way she invokes her messages on YouTube is just, it's one of a kind. She is really just a unique person to me. So always a inspiring figure to me. Else? The Wonky Angle, he really like got me into electronic music. So I'll also talk about some more EDM. That's, you know, what's to come. So also the Wonky Angle, he's like an expert on anything electronic. So definitely check out that guy. He's really great at reviews. Maybe another shout out, you know, Agalloch, of course, obviously, because that dude is just, he's in an entire different league. Just, you know, maybe people hate him for his politics, but he's pretty great on, you know, grabbing you by the balls and, you know, having a no BS filter. Like, he is just the best at that. So always an influence to me. Always great. But I'll probably like make a different video about my influences because I can go on about these people all day. Also, one last guy that I want to mention for now. Mike Seatown. Like, Mike Seatown is just a incredible, humble source, like just a really down-to-earth, nice dude that has like really well thought out and intelligent opinions. Like, that dude just really knows his shit. Like, he's into hardcore punk, he likes hip-hop, he likes all types of experimental music, you know, he's into experimental hip-hop. I think he likes some electronic shit as well. I'm not sure what all the kind of music he likes, but he is just like a phenomenal source to just look into. Like, all the videos that he makes are at least interesting to watch because he is talking. And I think that's what makes a great reviewer. You know, if you really value their opinion and what they have to say, I think that makes you a great reviewer. If you can really invoke your message, whatever you have to say. If you come from a good source, of course, then it's good. If you are like a hateful person, then you should be shunned. But I think that's kind of obvious. But I'm going off track. Those are some of my influences. I'm just really inspired by those people. That's kind of the reason why I'm here, because of, you know, Mike Seatown, YXM, Wonky Angle, people like that just kind of inspire me to, you know, make these kind of videos. And also the last bit that I kind of, you know, wanted to piss some people off. I think that kind of comes from, you know, like I said, Trixie, like the Golden Witch, and my last influence that I added on the tail end of my list, which is Your Favorite Band Sucks. Like, those people are so fucking funny. Like, I can't even tell half of the time if they're joking or not. Like, they're actual trolls. So I just love to troll the shit out of some people sometimes. And that's their career. That's their entire career, to just piss people off. I just love when people just walk in and just don't give a fuck and offend everything. They're kind of like the South Park of music in a way. Like, they just don't give a fuck. They just insult anyone and anything. That's fucking great. I love that channel. It's so good. But yeah, I can go on about these people all day. They fascinate me. But yeah, that's kind of the main influence why I wanted to go back. And having a webcam now is pretty useful for that, because before that I just had a shitty camcorder that I put it on the back of the table with like a laptop, and that was my recording. Now I have like a Shure mic, a 4K webcam, a Razer keyboard, and like a like an actual 4K PC setup. With I think 4090 with a 4090 processor. I'm not sure how you call it again, because I'm not really that technical with shit. I had someone help me build this. But that's just kind of to explain, how I'm setting this up, what I'm planning to do with it. Because before that it was just a shitty camcorder, and now I have some actual like high value production with this shit. So I figured it was kind of useful to share that, and to let you know that I do have the capacity now to actually record quality videos. But what you see on the screen, of course, I don't really care about it, to be honest. It's just like a background for me. It's a pretty cool picture of the band, but if you want to see something else, or like that live performance, or maybe like actual footage of something, I don't really mind. I mainly come for the content, and you can just throw this in the back and enjoy whatever you're doing. I think that's probably the best way to consume me. But if you have like a different like subject matter, or like a different topic you like to see on the screen, you can always just comment it down below, give me feedback. You can also message me in the YouTube box or on Discord. My handle is, this name, Ominous. But, I kind of took some inspiration from Wyatt, because he has Wyatt X Hem. I'm kind of fucking that up. Wyatt X Him. That's his name, because X him, he loves him. Him is a great band. I'll talk about him as well in a bit. But I have the handle for that is for me it's Ominous X Vi, because I love the character Vi. She's from League of Legends. I do kind of hate League, but I love the show Arcane. Like, Arcane is a masterpiece. That show is so good. So for that reason, my handle is Ominous X Vi. I'm not sure why I want to explain all of these things. I'm just like a really over-detailed, kind of like an overthinking person. So that's why I just kind of overload the the fucking video with all that shit. It's just kind of my mind, I guess. It's weird, but that's the way it is. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to share for now. So if you want to talk with me, OminousXY on Discord, or if you just want to talk here, you can just message me on YouTube, or just leave a comment behind, and I'll probably comment on that as well. So yeah, some people were already like aware that I was doing this, so just made a shout out on my server. If it's on Discord as well, on the tab there, I think there. On Discord, you can find me with any of the tags like Dutch, Letterboxd, Metal, RYM, and Anime. Those are like my main 5 tags for like a Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's basically a public board where you can put your Discord server there. And if you do that, people can find your Discord server. But most people don't really know what any of those tags mean. They just come in there and they're like, oh, Letterboxd. What the fuck is that? A movie database website. But you have to be kind of a dork for that to know that. But I don't blame you if you don't. But yeah, we have a variety of topics there, so feel free to come by. I'll probably drop the link in the server as well, or I'll probably drop the link in the description as well. So if you want to join that server, then you're free to join. But yeah, that was the video for now. I hope you enjoyed it. I think I just went off in 10 minutes for like a different topic, but I just like to talk. I just like to talk music, and I think that me just doing this again, it's pretty fun. It's awakening some spirits in me. Some spiritual shit, but yeah, I kind of miss this. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's fun talking to you guys and just sharing my thoughts. Yeah, like Wyatt always says, stay hydrated, kids. Get enough sunlight, touch some grass, shit like that. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a nice day. Peace.